The following is an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.
We're here with North Carolina A&T University head football coach Jerry Mack. Coach, I know everybody is looking forward to this week, but before we get there, let's just talk a little bit about this past week's victory over Howard.
Well, one thing we talked about, the team was playing 4 quarters, and Howard made us play 4 quarters. Kudos to those guys. They did a great job of coming out and executing it and making our defense have to be gap responsible, and then also holding the ball on the offense side of the ball. We did have a lot of opportunities on the offense. Our offense, I think we had about 64 plays or so, but we were still able to manage almost 500 yards of offense. So I'm proud of the way we executed on the offense side of the ball. Defensively, we gave you some cheap yards probably toward the end of the game, which we could get some of those back. But overall, when we had to come through and stopping those guys from scoring, besides the one mishap, the long run, other than that, we did a pretty good job overall. And anytime you come away with the win, it's all a good day.
Do you think that because the game was close against a team that was 1-8 coming into it, that you've got their attention now to realize, look, you can't just show up and beat anybody, and maybe they're a little bit more focused coming into this week?
I hope so. We've had some games throughout the course of the year that have kind of come down to the wire with that 4th quarter, that last 2 or 3 possessions. We really had to lock in and make sure that we took care of business. And that game last Saturday was no different. We had to make sure that we executed all phases of the game, and those 4 quarters that we preached about all week came down to it. So, who knows what's going to happen this week in this game, but at least we know we have some experience. We've been through those situations before.
And since the start of this campaign, the focus has been on getting to the Celebration Bowl and establishing this team's legacy here. So just talk about the situation that you're in right now.
Well, that's what we talked about the entire year. Ever since last year when we stayed at home and we were able to beat North Carolina A&T in the last game, but we still had to stay at home and watch those guys play the Celebration Bowl. That's been our goal. A team puts forward certain goals and things like that at the beginning of the course of the year. And right now we're right on pace and we control our own destiny like we talked about the entire year. And, in the next couple of days, we'll roll the ball out there and see what happens.
You actually watched the game last year?
I watched bits and pieces of it. After about the first half, I stopped watching.
Was it because it was painful because you wish you were there, or you just lost interest?
Pretty painful. A lot of people went down to the game in Atlanta. I didn't get a chance to make it. But, it was just one of those situations where it was tough to watch. You had beat the previous couple of weeks and go out there and represent on national television. Was
it at that moment you was like, okay, this is our goal to be here next year, not watch it from the couch, but be in the Georgia Dome? Is that when you start writing that goal? And what message, at what time did you express it to the team?
As soon as we came back from Christmas break. And to my surprise, a lot of people on the team, coaches, players, support staff, a lot of people had the same kind of thought process. We were just kind of hurt to see those guys go out there and represent what we thought should have been ours. But at the end of the day, we had another chance, another year to try to rectify the situation, and we put ourselves in a position where we can try to do that.
How did they get it last year? Because they were ranked higher?
Something to do with the ranking system. We had 3 teams with 1 loss, but their ranking was higher than the other 2 teams, so they got a chance to go.
And, of course, they're ranked this year. But you guys have 2 straight wins, but it still feels like you guys come in with an underdog mentality. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we're always going to be the underdog. We feel like we're the new kid on the block. We're the new kid in the conference. We've had some success this year, but we know, not a lot of people expect us to win the game, and that's fine. We're going to go in there and we're just going to do our thing.
How exciting is it for this week to finally be here, though? All of the buildup that's been taking place over the past few weeks. Both teams took care of their business. Now you're both going into this undefeated, and it's finally here, and you can, help build that hype going into it. How does it feel to finally be at this point?
I feel it's great. This is what you come to college football to do, to play in a championship caliber game, a championship-type atmosphere, and that's what it's going to be on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of people, rooting for both sides. A lot of friends and family are going to be there. I think we got the attention of a lot of media outlets as well. So, this is one of those situations where you want to come to college, you want a chance to play for a championship, and at the end of the day, you may be playing for HBCU national championship.
Coach, what is it going to be like preparing your team this week? I got to understand, I got to believe that this is just not just another game.
Well, we try to make sure that we keep them even keel. We don't want to get too high. We don't want to get too low for anything. We want to be focused. We understand on Saturday the juices are going to be flowing. They're going to have a lot of adrenaline pumping through their veins, and we just got to make sure that we don't get very high or too low for anything that happens. Whether we have success or whether we have failure throughout the course of the game, it's going to be as highs and it's going to be as lows. But as long as we make sure that we focus on what we came to play and we focus on taking care of business one play at a time, I think we'll be fine.
You're not from North Carolina, right?
No.
How long did it take once you got here to realize how bad of a rivalry this was, or how big of a rivalry this was?
It didn't take long. Matter of fact, probably about the interview process. You know, it was 2 games they talked about winning. That was homecoming and North Carolina A&T game. And so far, it's so good. We're 2 for 2 in both. We're really 3 for homecoming. But you know, this is one of those games where I knew coming into the situation that it was going to be an important game for not only just our program, but also for everybody in the community.
Sharing a conference title is great, but for the first time in a couple of years, you have the chance to win it outright. How significant is that?
Very significant. You know, we talked to the team. We want to be greedy. We want an opportunity to go out there and just have NCCU on that trophy this year as the sole outright champion. That's been one of the goals the last couple of years. We came very, very close the last 2 years, but now we're in a position where we're really even closer than we've ever been. So, you know, as long as we do what we're supposed to do, I feel good about it.
Were you familiar with this rivalry? I mean, had you heard about it before you even came to state?
I had. You know, I've coached at a couple of HBCUs before. I've coached at Jackson State and Arkansas Pine Bluff, and you know, you kind of keep up with all the different rivalries, whether they're in the SWAC conference or whether they're in the MEAC conference. And this is one of the better rivalries in the country.
I know you said you heard about how big the rivalry was during the interview process, but how soon did you hear about it from like supporters, boosters, alumni, students, just walking around campus once you first got here?
You know, everybody that you come in contact with, they talked about it. And I was a little bit surprised, even that first year when we played, to see the fan support and how the atmosphere was. It was even greater to some retrospect than homecoming, especially that first year, because it did have championship implications.
Coach, you talked about being the underdog in this game. How talented is this A&T team that you guys are going up against, that you shared this same conference title with the past 2 years? How much more talented is this team that you're playing?
Very talented. What you can see is a lot better execution. Tyree Cohen is playing at an extremely high level. He's one of the best backs at this level in college football. They have improved their passing game. They have one good young receiver and another older receiver that's really, really dynamic. And the defensive line is just amazing. Those guys are really getting after leading the conference in sacks right now. So what you can see is an improved team. And we're improved as well. So, you know, in some respect, you got 2 teams that, even though they shared a piece of the championship the last 2 years, this year they're even better.
Coach, can you just talk about your quarterback? You know, was the MEAC offensive player of the week, and just talk about what he has done this week.
Malcolm's done a really good job of managing our team, managing our program right now. You know, the thing that he has stepped up to the plate is taking more leadership role, a better leadership role. He's done a great job of making sure when he touches the field, everybody, those other 10 bodies on the field know that he's the leader and that he's in charge. And I think what you saw last week is a guy that, you know, kind of took over a game, you know, to go out there and throw for over 200 yards and then rush for another 100 yards. When we needed a score, he provided a score. When we needed a spark, he provided a spark. He did everything that we talked about over the last few years, scrambling, making sure he extend plays. He did all of that in the course of one game. And I think that was one of his more complete games. So he's just been a blessing over the last 3 years that we've been able to have a trigger man that has put us in a situation where we can compete, 1-2 championships and compete for a third one.
Compare the challenge this week with keeping your players focused with the past weeks, going up against games that didn't have that much hype or whatever. What's the challenge going to be like this week to keep them focused and still bring their A game coming this weekend?
Actually, the challenge to keep them focused probably is a little bit easier, just for the simple fact everybody knows it's here now. Everybody knows what's at stake. Everybody knows that in order to have a chance to go to Celebration Bowl, we have to win this game. So the entire focus is just on this game. In the past weeks, you know, a lot of hype building up where if you guys do this, you can play for the championship, or you can do this. You know, and sometimes you can become a distraction. You're looking ahead. Now we don't have to look a game ahead. The game is here right now.
Coach, I remember last year you were saying that the MEAC kind of goes through Durham, North Carolina for a third year. And so when you came into the summer, you know, you all talk about going to the Celebration Bowl and everything. So can you just talk about what your players and your staff did, you know, to maintain this focus all year long to get to this point, because there's been no slip-ups?
Yeah, I think it goes all the way back to our off-season conditioning, everything that we talked about as far as making sure that they stay focused, making sure we put that extra effort, whether it was the summer workouts, whether it was the off-season workouts, doing camp, all of those types of things go into that is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to make sure that you put yourself in a position where you control your own destiny. And over the course of the last few weeks, you know, even throughout the course of games where we may have gotten down or we may have not been performing the way that we know we can perform, you know, the goal and the focus still was to try to win a championship. And, you know, we put ourselves in a situation where we can do that.
Malcolm, he's the only quarterback you've had since you've been here, correct? I mean, starter, just played for.
He is. He's been the starter my entire 3 years.
Do you remember the first moment you guys met and you sat down with him, you know, and realized he's going to be the quarterback of your future?
Really, Malcolm, he got beat out when we went through spring ball and fall camp by Quinn Billerman, who's now one of our assistant coaches. Probably about the third game of that season, we made the transition and we were able to put Malcolm in, and pretty much we never looked back. We always knew he had the ability. That was never the question. But as far as the study habits and the work ethic, things like that, in order to be the starting quarterback and what we expect, he had to increase that. And what he's done over the course of time, he has. He stepped up to the plate and he's done a lot. He's really improved as a student of the game.
Do you think him being beat out by Quinn kind of woke him up a little bit and made him realize he had to get in the film room and become a student of the game?
I think so, because he saw a young man that, he probably felt like he had just as much of ability, if not more, than the guy that was playing in front of him. And that's what you want guys to do. You want guys to be hungry. That's what our whole program is built off of, is creating competition within the environment that we already in. And we were able to create that competition at quarterback. And at the end of the day, it all paid out for us because we got 2 championship rings out of it.
You got a lot of things going on right here. You're playing for a championship, and also for these seniors, it'll be their last game here at O'Kelly. So just talk about managing those emotions that day.
Oh, high emotions. Very similar to what happened in 14. This is always the last game of the season. It's always senior day. A lot of guys, that would be their last college game on that field for sure. So we got to make sure that our seniors go out the right way. We want to make sure that they go out with a win under their belt, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that happens.
I'm going to go back to Malcolm for a second. Mm-hmm. Second best quarterback in school history by the numbers. When he got beat out by Quinn that year, can you talk about the transition from that guy to now the second best quarterback in school history here at Central?
It goes back to work ethic. I talk to any recruit that comes in, anybody that comes in our program, talk about us being a blue-collar organization. And Malcolm understood that in order to get on the field, in order to play for this regime, he was going to have to increase his study habits, and whatever he had done in the past, it was not going to be acceptable. And you see a guy that came in, he started studying more. He made a commitment more than anything to stay up here during the summer. And I think that's where he really started to really gain and grow as an athlete and gain as a quarterback, because he was able to sit down with Coach Taylor and meet with him, and their relationship and their bond has just continued to grow over the course of these years. And, we're going to be disappointed to see him lead this program.
At what point did you take the reins off of him and just gave him the keys to the offense and he knew he could handle everything you threw at him?
He did a great job the first year, and then he made some strides in the second year. And we had to pull him in the second year probably after the Florida International game, if I'm not mistaken. And we had to talk to him about some of the things that he did the first year he wasn't doing at that point in time. And ever since then, we've never had that conversation again. I think he's really grown and matured as a student athlete, and that's what you kind of want your students and your players to do over the course of time. You see a guy come in. When we came in, he was a redshirt sophomore. Although he had spent some time in college, he hadn't spent time with the way we did things. And when we came in, we talked to him about, we steady tutored him, we steady worked with him and things like that. And now what you saw is him continue to grow.
That's right. He was already here when your staff got here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What will it mean? What will it mean for North Carolina Central to win the MEAC outright and a trip to a bowl game? What would it mean for this university and your football program?
It just means the world to all of us. I think you hit it right on the nail as far as meaning a lot to our university, our campus partners, the community of Durham, to have an opportunity to go highlight and showcase our university and our program on a national stage. That's just going to mean the world, especially when you look at where we came from. Before I got here, we were struggling to get to 500, a predominantly new program in the MEAC, and now look at us now. We put ourselves in a situation where we can go represent the university, even Saturday on ESPN.
How big of a headache is going to be to try to box in Tariq Cohen?
The biggest headache you can ever have is a migraine, the ultimate factor. It's one of those situations where Tyreek is a really good player. He's probably the most dynamic player I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes at this level. And to have a chance to try to box him in and try to hold him to a certain amount of yards, I don't think you can put a number on that. He's going to do some good things. He's done some good things in the past when we played against him. Pretty much no team, whether it's Division I or FCS, has really, boxed him in. So we just got to do a good job of bringing him down. We get an opportunity to tackle him and bring him to the ground. We have to do it. If not, that guy can run wild all night.
Coach, A&T was favored to win the past 2 years, but you guys had their number. What was it about that formula that worked for you those past 2 years, and will that formula work again this year?
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't really know what the magic formula was. We just go out there and we try to execute in all phases of the game and try not to limit mistakes as much as possible, and that's what we've been able to do. I can tell you this year, there is no one thing, or those last 2 years were the last 2 years. We have to, throw those game plans away, come up with an entire new game plan, and like I said, look at them for what they are now. And right now, they're really explosive, high caliber defense, really explosive, high caliber offense. So we got our hands full.
You mentioned ESPN earlier. What does it mean to have this game in your stadium over the air on one of their networks?
It goes back to marketing, it goes back to branding. We have the opportunity to brand and market North Carolina Central University. I think it helps with recruiting. I think it helps with just our national exposure to getting students on campus and making sure they understand that, in Durham, North Carolina, there's a really good school, not only just football program.
You guys played at Western Michigan. I asked you if you had a guy in practice who could simulate Davis, their wide receiver. I said, you don't think you did at the time. You have a guy in practice who can simulate Tariq when he does in the game?
We got a couple of guys that want to put a different colored jersey on to let him run around and try to do some similar things that he does. But it's very, very hard. It really is. We don't have anybody of that caliber of speed on the roster. So we got to do a great job of making sure that, whoever does that, they continue to try to press and run fast as they can the entire day of practice.
Between having to prepare for Davis in week 2 and got to prepare for Tariq now, which one was the harder one you think to prep for?
That's a tough one. Probably both about even, but I think Tyreek is probably a little bit tougher to do, just for the simple fact, even if you cancel gaps, even from a defensive, if you're sound and you're fit to run exactly how you're supposed to fit it, he still can make plays, and that's just how talented he is. No matter what you do on defense, every time they give the ball to him, it's a potential explosive play.
But I imagine it helps that you've seen him 2 years in a row.
It does. We watch the film, and so we're not surprised by his speed, or we're not surprised by his strength more than anything. I think that's one thing that people underestimate with him. You can see people have him tackled, have arm tackles, but he still runs out of those arm tackles. That's because I feel like they're just surprised about how strong he is because he's so small, but he's extremely explosive, and he got some strength in that body.
You think he's a next level guy?
I do. I think with the right team looking for him, I think he can really do some damage in the NFL.
So Saturday at 1:50, you guys in the locker room, what's the last message to the team if we take the field?
We just got to let our seniors go out with a bang. We got to make sure that our seniors, their last game on that field is what it's supposed to be.
Talking about the seniors, one of the young men joining us today is Jamaal Symmonett. Can you just talk about what he's meant to this program?
He's been a lot to us over the course of his time here. He was a guy that when we came in, Jamaal was a little banged up. He was trying to recover from some surgeries. But over the last couple of years, he's just been a staple of our offensive line. He comes to work. He has a workman's mentality. And, one thing about him, he's refused to go down this year. He's been nicked up, banged up, but at the same time, he's made every practice and he's made sure he's at every game, and he gives maximum effort every time he steps on the field. And those kind of guys you can win with. Those kind of guys you can win at a high level with. He's just been one of the staples of our offensive line. A little underrated just because Carl Jones and some of those other guys get a lot of attention. But Jamaal Symmonett, he's where it starts.
We're here with NCCU senior quarterback Malcolm Bell. He was voted as the MEAC Co-Offensive Player of the Week. Can you just talk us through this past game against Howard and that honor?
Basically, Coach tells me all the time, when they drop in coverage, take off and run. And just use your legs because you're athletic enough to use your legs. And, when they give you the pass, just take advantage of it. That's what I did.
And you're the first quarterback since 1999 here at NCCU to rush for over 100 yards. That many yards anyway. This is the second time that you've done it here. How effective is that for you, and how much do you focus on your running ability?
I don't really focus on it much. It's always been the ability that I've had since I was younger. Just making people miss an open field and stuff like that. I've worked towards doing that in college, and, it's worked out for me.
Where did you get those skills? Growing up playing football, did you play other positions other than quarterback or other sports maybe that have helped you as a runner?
I played soccer, so, footwork and stuff like that was a big thing. And I played running back in Little League and wide receiver, so that kind of got me right.
Did you watch the Celebration Bowl last year?
Yeah, I did.
Were you upset because you felt like you guys should have been there?
I mean, I was upset that we weren't there, but, them representing our conference in the way that they did, I couldn't be mad at that.
But did that motivate you watching them on live national television?
Oh, yeah. Them being on ABC and just seeing, another school that you did defeat be on TV like that, I mean, it was hard to watch, but at the end of the day, it was okay.
Were there any moments during the game where you text somebody or went on Twitter, well, maybe not Twitter, but text one of your teammates or a group chat like, this should be us or this will definitely be us next year?
Yeah, actually, Tony Tate was at my house. So we were watching the game together, and we were just like, man, this should have been us. And then we called some of our teammates. This should have been us. Look at that. Look at this. So it wasn't hard to watch, but at the same time, you just wish you were there.
And I guess at that point, that gave you the fuel to come back, to January, workouts and to start this whole process again.
Right. We just counted the days down. Just up until this point, we knew it was going to be a tough ride and people were going to come at our necks every game. But the ending goal was to reach the Celebration Bowl, and here we are. We're just one game away, so we're happy for it.
Coach brought up a great point where he talked about there's not going to be any more distractions now. It's not going to be opponents that you have that week and be looking and look ahead past them or whatever. Like, championship week is finally here. What does that do for the focus that you guys are going to have this week in practice, and just how excited are you that it's finally here?
Yeah, we're really excited. Like you said, we're not looking ahead to A&T playing another school now. It's just basically we're just focused on the team that we've wanted to play for so long. And, it's just is a great feeling. The senior day, for the MEAC outright championship, is just no better way to go out.
Do you feel like they had your number? They had the advantage over you guys going into the last two seasons, but you guys had their number. And again, this year, they're probably going to be favored. Does that put a chip on your guys' shoulder at all to that underdog role that Coach said that you guys play, as far as, okay, you guys are picking them to win this game, but we've beaten them the last 2 years. Let's go out here and do it for a third?
Yeah, the publicity thing, they play more TV games and people have watched them more than us. And, they know what they have and they don't know what we have over here. So it's just, we buckle down and we practice and, just see what happens.
Being a VA guy, how long did it take you to realize how big the rivalry between A&T and Central was?
I want to say 2013, my second year, because I actually got in the game, and it was tragic. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot that game, and it was just a crazy atmosphere. It was something that I've never seen before. So I think 2013 was the year.
Did you follow it? I mean, being in VA, did you follow the Aggie-Eagle rivalry much?
I didn't know anything about it.
Do you now, you're 4 years or 5 years here on campus, do you hear a lot about it from students, teachers, outside forces telling you guys, hey, this is a big game, you guys got to win? Yeah,
when I first got here, they were just like, you need to win homecoming, you need to win the A&T game. And, being able to win all of those games and just come up to A&T 3 straight years for a piece of a trophy or the outright trophy is just a big honor.
You just speak on the fact that whatever have many people, students, professors or whatever, people around town talk to you about, hey, this game is here. Have you heard people talk to you about it?
Yeah, this is, I think this will probably be the biggest game I've ever played in because of everything that's been riding up on this game. And, they thought they should have beat us last year and the year before that. And it's just people out just saying, you have to finish, you have to handle business. It's A&T week, and, we're expecting you guys to win, so.
You follow much stats? You follow your stats much in where you are in the history here at school?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. When y'all do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as you've seen, I saw you retweet my tweet the other day. Second place all time in total offense and passing. When you look back over your career, what do you think about that? Seeing that you're like the second greatest quarterback here in the school's ever seen.
This is a big, big honor. I just got to give thanks to God all the time for it. It was a rocky start when I first got here. And just to see my growth and different things I've accomplished has just been a great feeling for me.
Coach said your first year, the first year that staff was here, he said Quinn beat you out, but then you came in like the third or fourth game. When he beat you out, was it kind of like a wake-up call for you?
It was a wake-up call when he first got here. because, whenever a new coaching staff brings in someone else, we're really going to have to work hard, overcome this adversity. So, I just stayed the course. I never stopped working hard. I prepared like a starter. So even when I wasn't a starter and when it was my time to go in, I just never looked back.
You said you became a better student of the game, too. I mean, I'm sure you probably always had the athletic ability, but
Right.
you had to watch more film and practice differently.
I did. Quinn Billerman was a great mental guy. He was great watching film and, breaking down defense and stuff, and that's why he's part of the coaching staff now. And I just had to overcome that. I had to, go and watch extra film, see what the coach thought about different plays, and just to know why they called certain plays at certain times. And now I think I've got a good grasp of that, and it showed on the field.
I would definitely say you have it now. Well, when was the moment when it clicked for you of your career? Like, okay, I got everything. I can kind of run this offense.
I would say probably after A&T 2014. It was just like a big relief. It was a good year for me, and I just wanted to piggyback on that in the next year and into this year.
When you earned the starting spot, I mean, you have team goals. Obviously, you guys won 2 conference championships. I'm sure you had individual goals as well. Was climbing up this record book, was that one of your checkoffs goals?
I never thought about the record books. I just thought about like championships and just making sure my team was just winning and stuff like that. And then when the history books were mentioned, then I started looking like, I think I can get that. I think I can get that. But as soon as I got here, when I first started, I didn't really look at history, really.
Have you ever met Earl Harvey?
No, I haven't.
Can you speak on the fact of how, you all came back and Coach said that, we have to win this thing outright. Just talk about what your teammates did, coaches did from January on to make sure that no stone was unturned about how you prepared each week and make sure that you didn't overlook anybody and all that.
Really, Coach has this slogan all the time. It's just refuse to lose, and I think that's what we've done. Even when I went down against Morgan State, Naio came in and won the game for us. I just think that's something that we've really stuck to, and that's refuse to lose. And in any situation, at any moment, just remember that we have won 2 straight championships, and we are a championship caliber team, and we should always refuse to lose.
Any thoughts about this being your last game in Kelly Road?
Yeah, it hasn't really hit me yet. I think it'll hit me when I walk out with my parents. I'm just really focused on the game right now.
What's your biggest memory from playing? Obviously Saturday would be a big memory as well to add to that list, but to date, what's your biggest memory or best memory of playing here in Kelly Road?
My best memory is stepping in for Quinn against Charlotte in 2014. I think that was a big turning point and self-confidence for myself. And it just, since then I've been the starter. So I just think that was a big thing for me.
That was here?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you contain those senior day emotions, and then shortly after you have to walk out with your parents, you've got to get out on the field?
Right.
How do you make that transition? Because that's something you haven't done before.
Right, and I really don't know. I don't know what'll happen. I don't know if I'll shed a tear or be mad. I don't know, but hopefully I just stay even killed, just stay focused throughout the day.
One of our other guests today is Jamaal Symmonett, one of your tackles. Talk about him and what he's meant to you, that offensive front.
The offensive line as a whole has been great in my years here. They've grown a lot, and in particular Jamaal, he's battled injury throughout his career, and it's been great to know that a guy that you came in with, he didn't want to sit out his senior year, and he wanted to play and help out the team, and that was just a great thing, and I'm so proud of him.
So what would it mean to you to go out on your last home game carrying a championship trophy?
It'll mean the world to me. It's something I've always dreamed of, just winning it outright. In these last 2 years, I just, I want to win it outright and not share the championship.
What's been the prevailing thought between you guys? You all have a share of it, but you don't have it outright. What's the talks amongst your teammates on that?
It's not really like fully ours. So, you can't brag as much as you want to, and you can't wear the ring all the time because, other people are wearing the same ring in the same year. So I think it's just more like just bragging rights, just knowing that it's no one else that can say, hey, we won the championship too. I think it's just, we're just winning it all ourselves.
Jamaal, welcome. Talk about this game coming up. I mean, obviously, it's a big week for you guys.
It's a very big week. Every day you just, through the weeks of the season, we try not to think about it, but right now it's here. It's finally here. All the cookies, all the marbles. We're just ready to go at it.
Okay, before we go on, I know that everybody's going to recognize the accent. Tell people where you're from.
Well, I'm originally from Nassau, Bahamas. I lived there 16 years of my life, and then I got a chance to play football in Florida. So I went to Miami, Florida for about 2 years. I went to high school at Miami Beach Senior High School, and then I transferred to a private school where I got the offer from Central, and then the rest is just history.
So obviously, growing up, you had no idea about the Central A&T rivalry.
No, not at all. It's like back home, we don't play football back home. It's semi-pro only, and in high school, it's just regular sports: basketball, softball, soccer, tennis, the regular. But football, it was new to me coming from the Bahamas. So I really love the game now, and I'm glad I got to experience it.
Once you got here, how long did it take you to find out how big of a rivalry this was for everyone?
The first year, actually, 2012, we came in, we didn't have a good season. And then at the end, everybody, the crowd was bigger. It was nothing like homecoming, It was just the atmosphere was crazy. And I was like, wow, this is really something I'd never experienced. So, I really enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it, but between the lines, how much bad blood is between the two teams and between the lines?
It's like an unexplainable feeling. It's like going back and forth with, people hate you for some reason. It's just a vibe I can't really explain. It's like a feeling,
Malcolm just talked about the rings and this game being for the outright championship. What does it mean to have this game for the outright championship and not a share of it the way that you guys have had to share it the past 2 years? And what is that feeling like knowing that the winner of this game is going to have the outright championship?
It's like an unreal feeling, Like last 2 years we shared championships with the other teams, but now it's like it's something about this time that we just have to go and get it. We can't, we don't have to worry about sharing it with nobody, but it's just us and them going, the best of the best, just going at it, and whoever comes out on top wins.
You wear your rings in the last 2 years?
I wore my 2016 ring about 2 weeks ago at an interview with the business school, but I really don't wear them like that. They just sitting up for fashion,
Is it because, like Malcolm said, when you wear them, it's other schools wearing them too because we share them, so you don't feel like an outright champion. Is that part of the reason?
Right. Sometimes you just want to show it off to show, people around school will be done over the last few years. But yeah, like you said, just sharing it with other teams, it don't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's yours because everybody else have the same ring.
Is that pretty much the feeling amongst the entire team?
So you can say that. You can say that.
Did you watch the Celebration Bowl last year?
Yes, I was back home. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't really get to watch it. It's hard to get service over there. But I watched a few clips here and there.
Did you feel like at that point while you were watching, like, hey, we beat this team, this should be us playing on national television?
Yes, I felt like I was like, it should have been us, playing that team in Atlanta. But this is the year for us now. So that's in the past. Now it's time for us to look at the future and just go out there on Saturday, play hard, and we'll be at the Celebration Bowl come December 17th.
Malcolm's moved up the record books here, second all-time, broke so many records. What's it been like to play with a quarterback like that throughout your career?
Malcolm is very, he's very good. He's grown as a quarterback since we first came in together in 2012. Over the time he got a lot of playing time, and he just got confident. He have some seniors in the front of him, and he just believed in us. So once he believed in us and we believe in him, then anything is possible. So we just go out there and do his do. That's what I like to call it. I like to say.
Can you speak on the enormity of this game? It's either all or nothing, rings or no rings, championship, no championship. Can you just speak on the fact that this is it?
Like I said earlier, this is a big game. We just we gonna do what we supposed to do. We every day since Sunday we just been focusing on watching film, paying attention to detail. This week is very more focused for the team. There's not a lot of playing around, not a lot of laughing. So we just going out there and practice and film study, treatment, weights, just going the extra mile. Put our best foot forward for this weekend.
Obviously, you can't watch Malcolm. I mean, you're on the field while he's playing, so you can't watch his play. When you go back and watch film, sometimes you just kind of see some things he does and become a fan. It's like, wow, man, he's fun to watch.
Yeah, at times, I watch him, cut up the field off our blocks and, just go in the touchdown, go in the end zone and score a touchdown, And it's like he just comfortable with us. We have his back and he have ours. So it's just a fun feeling to see him score and, celebrates. I mean, even though sometimes he try not to celebrate with us because his mind is just in the game. But, it's a good feeling. Once he's happy, we happy. So it's a good feeling.
From a leadership standpoint, what's he like verbally or lead by example?
He leads by example. Sometimes he might not say much, but sometimes he'll speak up at times. But he's a good leader. He's more of the quiet type, shy type, but he leads when his number is being called. So
when you first met him, did you look at him and think, what did you think about when you first met him? He's not a big guy. He's not a 6'4" quarterback, kind of a little guy. You remember what you first thought when you first saw him? Like, is this our quarterback?
When I first met Malcolm, 2012, I was like, wow, who is this kid? Kid off the block. Everybody's from different places, especially me coming from, a different country. I was like, who's these guys around here? And, we grew together and I got to know him better. Malcolm was a cool dude, Back then, he was a quiet, little linky, but now, we grew up to be one of our leaders and our senior quarterback, so he's come a long way.
You've been through quite a journey since you've come to NCCU. Can you talk about some of the adversities that you've had to face to get to this point?
Wow. 2012, redshirt freshman year, didn't get to play. Little upset. 2013 came along. I played a few games, had a shoulder ending season. I tore both labrums in my left and right shoulder. 2014, I sat out the whole season, had double shoulder surgery. I played 2015, little ankle sprains here and there, so I didn't really get to play at my full potential. And then January passed, I had a bicep surgery. So I was, up and down, but I never gave up, it was just adversity. And something I always told myself, my teammates, especially the O-line, Carl Jones and Ty Gatz, and they could always say, I always said that I'll never be a statistic. So I always put that in my mind and say, I'm going to fight this battle. And, God was on my side. I never gave up, and I kept working at it, and this year was just my year to shine.
So talk about what that means now. You've come in, you've had a great senior season, and then Saturday will be your last home game. Talk about the emotions going through you.
Well, it's a lot, I'm just thankful for the chance, God gave me to come back and play the game. I could have been out, home or couldn't play another down. So the emotion is very high, it's the last game of the season. As a senior, it's my last time at O'Kelly Riddick, so it's just, right now, I don't feel it right now because, it's early in the week, but Friday night, Saturday, that's when all the emotions will come along and it'll be a different response.
Do you have family coming to the game?
My brother actually is coming to town tonight from the Bahamas to come to walk me on senior night. Unfortunately, my parents couldn't be here because of work basis, so he's going to support me on that.
Has he seen you play in person?
Never. None of my family ever seen me play football in person. From my Miami years playing high school football, I never had family members see me play. No. I did actually. When we played at FIU, I had my aunt and my cousins came to see me play. But up at North Carolina, no one has never seen me play. So it's like I'm just behind this little shadow. Everybody say, is he good? Is he playing? And then when I go back home, they always ask me, do you get tackles? Do you get sacks? I was like, no, I play offense. So, that's always the question. But yeah, I never really had nobody to watch me play football from my family point of view.
Older or younger brother?
Older. It's my older brother.
Okay. And
I might just gonna put a little extra pep in your step. Bigger game for you. Mm-hmm. Everything else is on the line. You're gonna have somebody seeing you for the first time in person. Does it make it even bigger day for you?
Yeah, it really does because he was a guy who always was in football when we were growing up. He taught me little steps here. I was the younger one, so he'll throw me the football and say that's how you tackle and stuff like that. So he is the main focus, and he keeps me motivated every day as we talk every night. And he's happy to see me this weekend. So tonight, he's just happy to get on this plane and just come up here, and he can't wait till this weekend to see what they have to produce on the field.
It's going to be pretty hard for you to keep your emotions intact on Saturday, knowing it's going to be your first time, your family seeing you in front of your home crowd and with everything that's on the line for the entire team?
Well, my emotions are always intact. It's the first play, you always get the jitters out, After the first play, it's just, hand in the dirt and let's play ball. So it wouldn't be that bad. Seeing him in the stands, I can look up at him and, give a high five or give a wave or give a little signal just to say, I see you, bro. You got my back. So, the emotions wouldn't be as high, but I know it'll be there during the game, though.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.